movie opens like most Disney movies do, with a dark thunderstorm, a shadowy figure, and an ominous soundtrack. The shadowy figure runs into some abandoned building, which I always assume was an old train station, considering it was next to a train track. He recovers some money hidden below the floor, and he talks all sexy to it and makes out with it.
Oh, beautiful. Did you miss me?
We then cut to a close-up shot of a kid who talks to fish. This kid is Preston Waters, our protagonist. Preston is pretty much obsessed with money, but doesn't have any. His brothers are starting their own business, so their father steals a computer from his work for them. Then he tells Preston to teach them how to use it. That's pretty fucked up, Dad. So Preston is like 3 or 10 or 12 years old and knows how to use a computer, but his older brothers don't? Where did Preston get this knowledge that his brothers didn't? So after Preston makes the computer's text-to-speech program suggest his brothers like to put their faces in each other's butts, the brothers freak out and start hitting the computer trying to stop it. How stupid can these people be? This is going to be a long movie. Preston has to go to some kid named Butch's birthday party at a really terrible theme park. Wow, look at what these kids are wearing. This part bothers me. Okay, so Preston gets to the theme park, and the only person who acts like they know him is Butch, aside from some girls that start whispering to each other, probably making fun of the abomination that's Preston's outfit. The other kids aren't like, "Hey Preston, what's poppin', my dog?" Because that's how kids talk. But then it's like, if Butch doesn't like Preston, then why did he invite him to his birthday party? It doesn't make sense. And also, this theme park requires you to purchase tokens to go on rides. How stupid is that? Can you imagine how long it would take to get through the line with everyone having to count their damn tokens? What if you had like 200 tokens and your pockets were full and you're on a roller coaster and you go upside down and the tokens fly out and the centripetal force and the velocity of the tokens make them fly like BBs from a BB gun and hits a baby in the face, and that baby starts crying and its mother's like, "OMG, what happened to my baby?" And she sues the theme park and they have to close down and all those kids don't have a shitty theme park to go to anymore. Anyway, the point is this business model is not very sustainable. Moving on. So Preston's birthday is coming up, and when his parents ask him what he wants, he says money. His grandma sends him a birthday card. He finds a sweet check inside of it. But to Preston's dismay, there's no amount written on the check. Oh hell yeah, it's a blank check. Now we get to see the good part, where he writes $1 million on it and buys all that cool... Oh wait, his dad writes $11. Okay. Preston takes the check to the bank to try to open a bank account. But the attractive bank lady, whose name is Shay Stanley, but I'm just going to call her attractive bank lady because I feel like it, tells him it's a $200 minimum to flex in this bank. At the same time, the shadowy figure from the beginning, whose name is Quigley, takes the money he got from the floor to the bank president, Mr. Biederman. Apparently, Biederman testified against Quigley in court, which sent him to prison, and Quigley has just escaped. The money Quigley has is marked, and he needs to unmark bills to start his new life as a prison escapee. He says his associate by the name of Juice will be coming by the next day to pick up the new money. As Preston is leaving, Butch rides by on his bike and yoinks the check away from him. After a Fast and the Furious style elementary school children bike chase in the bank parking lot, Preston ends up wiping out behind Quigley's car and his bike gets run over. Quigley tries to give Preston a check to pay for the bike, but when the 5-0 show up in the parking lot, he's like, "I got a dip, bruh. Show this to your pops and he'll help you with that check." Essentially giving Preston another blank check. Oh snap. Instead of being happy their youngest child didn't lose his leg, they just get pissed at him for his bike getting run over and they ground him. That night, he takes the blank check from Quigley and sets it up on the computer to write it for $1 million. So this 4-year-old kid knows how to write checks and set it up to print perfectly on the computer's printer, and the older brothers think it works by beating it like it owes them money? Of course. Makes total sense. You gotta be kidding. The next day, Preston goes back to the bank, and the woman who looks like Biederman in drag sends him up to see Biederman. And because Biederman is a huge fucking moron, he thinks Preston is Juice and gives him the $1 million. But then the real Juice shows up to collect the $1 million. Oh boy, what a crazy movie. Preston runs home to call a real estate agent to buy a castle that's in his neighborhood, but Quigley is already there in person. Preston ends up buying this castle house for $300,000, almost a third of all his money. He tells the real estate agent his name is Macintosh because product placement. This is what doesn't make sense. How did Preston, a 13-year-old child, come into possession of this house without having to have some kind of contract signed? How did he get the key? Who did he give them? How did he get the money to them? Like, no one's gonna hand a key over to an 8-year-old child. Ugh. Quigley, Juice, and Biederman start hunting for Preston to get the money back. We then see the attractive bank lady talking to her boob. Turns out she's got a hidden microphone because she works for the FBI. She says that since Biederman is talking to a couple of guys that he's obviously laundering money. You would think that the FBI would have knowledge of Quigley escaping prison and having connections to Biederman, but I am not an FBI agent, so maybe not. What do I know? I know nothing. Preston calls for a limo and the poor man's Chris Farley is the driver. Preston says he wants to go shopping, and we are treated to a severely boring montage featuring super oppressive technology for 1994. I mean, would a kid really want to go to half of these stores? They see the attractive bank lady jogging on the road, and Preston says the limo belongs to his boss, Mr. Macintosh. Then it's Product Placement Avenue as Preston gets a ton of stuff for his house. The real estate lady goes to see the attractive bank lady to give her the cash that Preston somehow got to her. Just stuffed it in the mailbox, probably. Yeah, okay. Turns out this money is marked to show that Biederman is involved with money laundering or something. Yeah, okay. The attractive bank lady goes to the castle house and finds Preston there swimming. She asks about Mr. Macintosh and Preston lies, saying he's in meetings all day. But he invites her to dinner so he can tell her all about Macintosh. Preston goes on his date with the attractive bank lady and makes her ruin her nice dress. Quigley, Juice, and Biederman just so happen to be in the same place and spot him, so Preston and the attractive bank lady make a run for the limo. Preston mentions Mr. Macintosh is having a birthday party. They drop the attractive bank lady off, and it's kinda creepy. Preston lets the party planning lady rob him, and then he ends up going to the park with his backpack full of money, because that's really smart. The Three Stooges end up spotting him and risk a couple dozen other lives to try to get Preston. Preston drops his stupid backpack, and some random dude ends up getting like a free $1,000. That isn't even the same spot the backpack fell in the first place. Oof. Preston gets away, and then the guys randomly just find Butch again and get him to tell them where Preston lives by dangling off the roof of a building. No big deal. Then we go to the big Mr. Macintosh's birthday. So somehow a bunch of random people end up being invited to this party. Like, who are these people? Seriously, this is a huge plot hole for me. And if it's really Preston's birthday party, why would he have a giant party? He doesn't have any friends. Have you seen how he dresses to go to the theme park? So the party sucks and has a bunch of rich people food that Preston and Henry, the limo driver, don't like. The party planner tells Preston that the party costs $100,000 and he needs to go get the money. So he goes upstairs, and according to his computer, he only has $300 left of the $1 million. Preston's dad comes upstairs thinking that Preston is Mr. Macintosh and gives some sort of heartfelt speech about how he'd like Preston to come home for his birthday if he wants to. Preston decides he does, but by the time he can turn around, his dad is left. I don't know how, though. It's seriously not humanly possible for him to have walked out the door, go down the stairs, go out the front door, get in his car, start his car, and drive away. The timing doesn't make sense. He's like superhuman or something. How does he do this so fast? This movie doesn't make any sense. Preston then tells the party planner that there's no more money to pay her, so she acts a fool, as the kids say, and tells everyone the party is over. Preston says that none of those people should have been invited. Well, no shit, who the f*** are they? The three guys and Butch bust down Preston's front door, and apparently they're shooting the music video for Michael Jackson's Thriller in the front yard. Butch then says that maybe he's at Mr. Macintosh's birthday party down the street. So if the party is down the street from Preston's house, why can't Preston just run home? And earlier in the movie, when all the trucks are unloading stuff, Preston's dad can't leave the driveway, so he must not live very far from the house. So Preston is by himself at the castle house, and the three guys show up. Biederman comes up with the idea that Preston has already created a new identity for him, and he could just use that. Preston runs away and then uses all the toys he bought to create crazy hijinks and take the adult men down. Seriously though, this guy is such an idiot, he can't figure out that he just has a headset on? And why would he make these movements? Juice gets hit in the nuts with a ball because obviously that's hysterical, and quickly gets put in a hamster ball and pushed into the pool where he drowns to death. Not really, but that would have been badass. Attractive bank/FBI lady and the rest of their team bust in all like, "Free, sucker." They ask who Macintosh is and quickly says he is. I'm not sure why he ends up doing this. It made sense before they knew the FBI was onto them, but now it's like, you think the FBI just assists the local PD for noise complaints? Ugh. So they end up arresting all of them, still not knowing that the guy is Quigley and not Macintosh because prison escapes in the area are just such the norm around there, I guess. Preston, the attractive FBI lady, are in the castle house, and Preston thinks he can actually date this woman. He bargains into them going on a date in 6 years, so that means she will probably be in her mid-30s and he will be like 15, because he's like 5 years old. Math. Then the infamous scene comes where she kisses Preston on the lips, in front of a bunch of cops, while she's an FBI agent. Yeah, okay. Preston's dad goes to the house to get him, and they walk home. Preston could have easily just said, "Fuck this shit, I'm out," and gone home. So at the house, they make no acknowledgement that their front door is busted down, and they all just stand in the dark with Preston's birthday cake. Where have they been all night? I mean, they weren't home when the door got busted down, apparently, so where were they? They tell Preston to make a wish, and he says, what more could he possibly want? And then he sees a picture of the FBI/fake bank lady and blows out his candles. Then it says the end. The entire movie was filmed in Texas. The castle house is known as the Pemberton Castle. It's in Austin, Texas, and the address is 1415 Wooldridge. It's currently owned by director Robert Rodriguez. Though Preston bought the castle for $300,000 in 1994, today a more modest home in the same neighborhood was going for just under $740,000. The theme park was Six Flags Fiesta, Texas, and the bank was the Alamo National Bank building. The park that they had the chase scene in has a banner saying Macintosh Kids Park. Why is there writing on the phone? Disney Plus recently came under scrutiny by allowing the movie to still have the kissing scene in it, but removed the Love, Simon TV series for being too quote-unquote adult. However, it seems they have moved the TV series over to Hulu. Brian Bonzell was 11, and Karen Duffy was 31 at the time of filming that scene. Say hi to the production crew. Brian Bonzell was a cute kid in Family Ties before he did Blank Check. This is him today. Well, not today, but recently. You know what I mean. He got out of acting in his early teens and moved to Colorado with his family. He's had a few run-ins with the law, but I think that's just par for the course for child stars. I'm joking. Kind of. These days, he plays in a band called Sunset Silhouette. I listen to their stuff, and I have to say, being someone that grew up listening to Newfound Glory and other bands like that, it's not too bad. I'll put a link in the description for anyone that wants to check them out. I'd also like to add that recently he became a father, and it seems like he's doing all right. Karen Duffy had a few more acting roles until about 2009, but now seems to be concentrating on writing about her rare condition called neurosarcoidosis, which causes granulomas in the central nervous system. Tony Loke is known for his songs Wild Thing and Funky Cold Medina. He's done several acting and voice roles throughout the years, but like many has had his run-ins with the law, including felony possession of an assault weapon and domestic violence. It seems he's had some health issues as well. Recently he has been on the I Love the 90s tours, but seems to have stayed away from things since around 2017. Michael Lerner has had a long acting career going back to the early 1960s. Many people might know him from the movie Elf. Jane Atkinson has had great success in TV, movies, and on stage. She had long-running stints on the shows 24, Criminal Minds, and the Netflix series House of Cards. So this is the part where I get serious. Unfortunately, James Rebhorn, Miguel Ferrer, and Rick Ducommon have sadly passed away. I remember James Rebhorn mostly from his small role in the Michael Douglas movie The Game, but of course he's been in many other projects. Miguel Ferrer did a lot of voice work and is probably most well known for the movie RoboCop. Rick Ducommon was someone I didn't realize I had seen until I had seen him again. What I mean is I knew him from Blank Check, Then I saw him in The Burbs. Then I realized he was Cindy's dad in Scary Movie, also in Groundhog Day and Last Action Hero. I appreciate all of these guys for their part in the movie and for entertaining people throughout their lives. My final verdict on this terrible movie that makes no sense: I love it. It is one of the dumbest movies I've ever had the pleasure of seeing, but I can still to this day throw it on and not have to pay any attention because it doesn't make any sense anyway. I mean, Preston is involved in this big FBI investigation and just gets to go home at the end of the night. Think about it. So Quigley says he's Macintosh, but then he realizes, oh boy, I'm a big dum-dum for saying that. Him, Biederman, and Juice will all testify that Preston was behind everything. There's got to be security camera footage at the bank showing that Preston went into the bank to get the money. Interview the real estate lady. Confiscate the computer. There's sufficient evidence that Preston did it all. I mean, Quigley is going to go back to prison either way, so what's he got to lose? Biederman, same thing. Am I the only one who thought about this? Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this look back on the movie Blank Check. It's a ridiculous movie that I think way too much about. I still don't understand why the hell Butch would invite someone he doesn't like to his birthday party, though. I mean, no one even had any presents or anything, but they had a banner that said, "Happy Birthday, Butch." How much did that cost? Where are all these kids' parents? They just let them all run around willy-nilly through the whole theme park? Holy shit.